Hello my friends and welcome. Yes, I understand that this channel is about Ukraine mostly, but there are some of the things I want to speak about with you. For example, this one, the Trump Golden Fleet and the Trump ship, and the separate class of the ships that presumably will be built and named after Donald Trump. This is the model that was presented by Donald Trump himself, and this thing is damn huge. Actually, I wanted to stream this event, but my schedule is very terrible, so I was sleeping probably by the time. Nevertheless, let's watch this video of presentation itself.
Honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of two brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships. You know, you used to build the Iowa, the Missouri, the Wisconsin, the Alabama, many others. We had big battleships. These are bigger, but they will have 100.
Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna stop him and tell the real things. Actually, it's not the bigger ship than Iowa. If you speak about the tonnage of displacement, that is how the ships are being measured. So the Trump's class of the ship will displace roughly 40,000 tons, not more, as the project says. The Iowa class of the battleships had the displacement of the 57,000 tons, so 17,000 tons more, which is huge. But still, this Trump class ship will be definitely the biggest built in a modern day time or modern day era after the Second World War, if we are not taking in account air carriers, but not the biggest ever, as Donald Trump says. Oh, it seems like I'm wearing a suit now.
These are the best in the world. They'll be the fastest, the biggest, and by
yeah, usual Trump's words, fastest, biggest, and we're gonna build something really big, outstanding. He called those ships the Gold Fleet. Yeah, Trump's Armada, maybe he should name those two. But the problem here that those ships will not be that capable as they used to in the Second World War. I think that the main reason of this project for Donald Trump is to build those huge ships, is to put huge Trump letters or Trump names on them. Yeah, so they need to be huge, as Trump put his name on Kennedy Center somehow lately, yeah? But here I want to tell you why those ships have no future perspective and the actual battle use. Well, simply that is why. You know what is this, yeah? This is the Moskva flagship that was down by Ukraine in 2022. The displacement tonnage of this ship is 12,500 tons, and Trump wants to build something even bigger, up to 40,000 tons. But still, it doesn't mean that the bigger ship will be more robust and will not go down to Bikini Bottom. Moskva ship was down by just two of the Neptune anti-ship missiles. It was pretty much enough. One of the missiles did the most of the damage. It hit in the forward part over here, below the waterline. It dived in and it was enough. The second missile did just minor damages to the ship, as experts already reported, and we have this information leaked by Russia itself. So the bigger the ship, the better it is the target for any sort of the cruise missiles or submarines, drones, drone boats, drone submarines. Once again, we see that our allies, well, I wouldn't call United States our ally right now under Donald Trump, let's say partners, yeah? Partners, they do not learn on the actual military experience, because with the big flagships or destroyers, you cannot reach superiority in the sea any longer. You need to build the only ship that allows you to do it. It's the air carrier, and the United States was building those massively for decades and decades ago. And that's actually the core of the military might of the United States, because they may operate air carriers elsewhere, and also the range of the operation is quite significant, because planes, air superiority really matters. But Donald Trump returns us to the Stone Age, where the ships were mostly like that. They were the predominant force, but even after the Second World War, it was understandable that the time of those ships have passed already. They retire. Now, this is the classical set. You have an air carrier, you have all of those ships around, you have even some of the submarines. And the main purpose of the ships around is to protect the air carrier. That's the main goal. The operation and the dominant force is coming out from the air carrier. That's why it's the main target and it should be protected, secured. But if you put the big ship over here, I'm very bad in drawing, like for example, this one, yeah, you also need to protect this one with the smaller ships because it may become one of the biggest targets in this convoy. Or the Golden Trump Armada, if we may call it like that. What you do with those ships, you put lots of the sailors there, lots of the crew members, personnel, and you put lots of the weapons, let's say air defense systems, some of the Tomahawk missiles, anti-submarine systems. It becomes the flagship, probably the commanders will be there. Here also in Eric area, but also could be on that Trump flagship. And that makes it the juicy target. If you eliminate it, it will harm this group a lot. I mean, a lot. With the ship being kaputted, you lose lots of the weapons. It's better to split the weapons to protect the air carrier to the smaller ships. That is what we have right now, United States of America has, yeah? Each ship performs its unique role in this convoy. Well, they not only may protect, they also may fulfill the main duty of the air carrier, backing it up with the military operations. Also, they carry some of the Tomahawk missiles. Sometimes helicopters, they may also perform search and rescue missions, so they are needed. But here with the classical stuff, United States, they split. They delegate the actions to the smaller ships, and if you lose the smaller one, well, you have one more exactly like that, so it's not a significant loss. But imagine, let's say, instead of those 3 ships, you have this huge Trump ship. If it's lost, it's not just the loss of protection or safety, security, and the capability of this group, but it's also a huge demotivation factor for those guys who remain out there. And again, this is a very, very big target, I mean the Trump ship. Plus, it is still less than air carrier, less stable, and requires less forces or resources to put it down to Bikini Bottom, as it happened to Moskva ship. Just the last week we saw this one, a big kaboom in Novorossiysk port. Ukrainian drone submarine went into a very protected space in the Russian naval base. The most energy of the kaboom went into the port construction, and if submarine is damaged, well, it's just partially damaged. But if that drone submarine hit the Russian submarine precisely, there would not be any more submarine. It's just pure luck that Russians, they still have the submarine, and probably they may repair it. But the reinforced construction of the port, it was damaged absolutely significantly. If it was Trump's class destroyer, that could actually down that one. If the drone submarine hits the precise spot, it is not a torpedo, so you may adjust the heading, you may control it. It's very, very precise weaponry. And if Ukraine managed to build those, well, any other country may do it, because Ukraine, well, it's not very developed country, let's say it. Plus, Ukraine has multiple of the other projects in which it should invest. First of all, to the drone army. But the drone submarines were built, I would say, quite fast, so any other army country may do the same easily. Especially then we see that the drone technologies, they evolve. Not just anti-ship missiles are the biggest threat right now, but the drone boats and the drone submarines, which are very hard to detect. Yeah, one more Russian submarine, and actually Russia lost multiple of the ships throughout this war, which were hit by either cruise missiles or drone boats. Yeah, just Google, we have all of the Russian Black Sea Marine Fleet, and Russia lost many of them. Also, it's kind of the old image. For the last year, Russia also lost a couple of the Coast Guard ships. And probably one more submarine was recently damaged, as I showed you. So basically, if United States wants to build those huge ships, I'm not sure whether United States, they really wants it. I think only Trump and his fellows around, it is just their personal project, as with F-47 fighter jet. To make those ships work somehow, they need to protect those with the same armada as they protect the air carriers. There is no other way to secure the ship. If it operates alone or just with a few ships in an escort, it's no go. In any sort of the military confrontation, it will be #1 target, and you may say, oh, they're gonna put those Star Wars blasters, lasers, air defense, some of the anti-drone guns, but it's not 100% guarantee, guys. No any air defense or anti-drone system is capable to shut down absolutely everything. We see what happened during Iran-Israel conflict, the last summer, I think it was, yeah, I also told about it on this channel, how Iran launched some of the China missiles to target even Tel Aviv. And despite Israel having Iron Dome, THAAD missiles that intercept those ballistic Iranian missiles in the space, still Iran managed to hit some of the infrastructure of Israel, including some of the military bases and city blocks. Yeah, Iran still is not that precise, but it was capable, to harm Israel in one or other way. But Israel is Israel, Tel Aviv is just the city, it will not sink down to Bikini Bottom, but this thing, it will. Absolutely. If it obtains the critical damage from a cruise missile, from submarine drone, of course, it will go down. Iran, Russia, they have thousands of those Shahid drones. Imagine them launching simultaneously 800 of the drones at the same time to hit that destroyer. Well, maybe they will not sink it down, and most of the drones could be intercepted by air defense systems of the ships. But the Trump-class ship could be significantly damaged because it's the huge target. And if Russia puts, for example, jet engines on those Shahids and they start to use those jet Shahids, potentially capable to accelerate to 500 kilometers an hour, it's more than 300 miles an hour, well, try to intercept those. That will make them some sort of the small cruise missiles. And that's the main thing that more military should be focused on, to create something nimble, to create something anti-drone effective, as small as possible to operate, not building huge mega ships. It is dictator stuff of the sickness, actually. All of those dictators, including Hitler, were building some of the huge Waffe, the biggest artillery, the biggest tanks, the biggest airplanes, the biggest ships, and this gigantism is also in the veins of Donald Trump. The price of the ship should be around 10 billion United States dollars to produce a single unit. And for what use? Maybe it's better to build F-35s or B-2s because they really show the effectiveness. No, let's build one huge vessel because we like it, we should put everything on it, and if it's kaputted, it's gonna be the end. Ukrainian Navy has just few of the Coast Guard boats, smaller ships, but it is capable to conquer Russian Navy, which is huge, Black Sea Marine Fleet. Why? Because of the drone boats. That's easy. And Russians have to lock themselves in Novorossiysk port just because of that threat. They cannot allow to lose those huge ships, but they're useless. They're staying in the ports. They cannot go out and patrol the Black Sea in search for Ukrainian drone boats that continue to attack Russian oil tankers, because they themselves could be the targets. They're very vulnerable. And the stupid brain of Donald Trump, it doesn't understand that. And in Trump's administration, there is no one who might tell to Donald Trump, oh, it's a bad idea. It's better to focus, to develop some of the drone technologies. Let's relocate the funds to those projects. But he says, no, I don't like those new ships. They look ugly. Let's build big Trump ships. And if they want to put nuclear weapons on that oversurface vessel, it's also kind of controversial nowadays, because those are most effective on submarines and on air carriers. And there are already smaller ships in the United States Navy that may carry Tomahawk missiles, and Tomahawk missiles could be equipped with nuclear warheads, so why to build this big target, actually? Also, if you look at other countries, competitors of the United States, first of all, China, they're not building those huge ships, absolutely. They're converting some of the commercial vessels into possible landing ships to attack Taiwan maybe in the future, but they're building air carriers mostly. Yeah, they're building the smaller ships, but they do not invest into those huge, useless vessels like Donald Trump presented recently. And we have the new update that the price of the ship, a single unit, is not 10 billion. It should be $15 billion of the single unit. It is crazy, guys. It is complete stupidity. And as we know the story with the Trump's ballroom, the price of which should have been initially $200 million, and now they say $400 million, 2 times more. Plus the project is completely out of the schedule. They just ruined the east wing of the White House, that's it. And they're looking for new companies, organizations which could finish this project, because everything is like that in United States nowadays, because of this incompetent administration that cannot even go through the plan of its own White House project construction smoothly without any sort of the flows. But here we speak about huge, large investments into the military. But here we are speaking about huge investments into something new that requires years and years of development. They will not be able to build those Trump-class ships just like that, very fast, in a matter of 1 or 2 years. It's not possible, and we'll see just the downfall of this project. I bet it's all gonna be a big corruption scam based on United States taxpayer money. United States budget. And you know what? In a big beautiful bill, there are no funds allocated for those crazy Trump projects. So they'll have to take the money from some of the important for United States Army projects and build those huge ships. Guys, from what I see, what Trump does is just undermining of everything of the United States, the capabilities of military, the world influence, also economy. Everything is going deep down. The United States policy is now based on his personal populism and narcissism, and also people around him, they accept it as the rule, and they all say yes to Donald Trump. Yes, Donnie. Yes, Donnie. Just the last week, I streamed his speech to the public, to the nation address, where he stated that the drug prices dropped by 700%. Yeah, first he said 500, then 600, 700. But yesterday he proclaimed 1,200% drop of the prices. It's mathematically not possible because not only you should get your drug in a pharmacy, but they will pay you for that. There is no lower than 100% for the original price of the product. And Donald Trump doesn't understand it. He continued to say this nonsense. And there is no one from his team who might tell him, you know, Donnie, you are saying completely wrong stuff. It's better not to say it as percentage. Let's say the prices dropped by several times or something like that. But no, there is no one in his circle who would say no. And the F-47 fighter jet is the same bullshit as those Trump-class ships. It requires lots of the funds. This project has more chances to be just a scam than to be a real thing in the future. And the next president, the next administration of the White House, I guess they will cancel or freeze everything of that because they'll understand the real thing that all of that is done just for Trump's PR, for him to appear in the press and say about some of his personal projects that will change everything. American military, let's make it great again, but in fact, they completely lose the sense of the modern day war. And you know what, guys, I just came to this thought that maybe after all, the United States should allocate lots of the funds to build those ships and F-47 planes to undermine its military, because now the military of the United States, it's the threat for democracy under Donald Trump's rule. Yeah, because he again speaks about Greenland. Yeah, we all expected the special military operation in Venezuela. It still could be, but the Greenland, well, it's much easier. It's allied land. It belongs to Denmark, that is an ally of the United States. They're in the same NATO bloc. But you know what? Trump doesn't care. He may just land his army and that's it. Yeah, same as Putin. Could it be? He says that it might be himself. I mean, Donnie. But it's the topic of the next video, guys. I want to speak about it also in this channel, about the threats coming from Russia, also for Europe. Threats from the United States in this case towards Greenland and the unity of NATO. So I'm gonna record one more today, and of course update from Ukraine closer to evening. My friends, if you want to support the job that I do here on the channel, you may check out my Patreon link below, or you may join membership if you are watching me on YouTube, because I'm also on Spotify. Well, all of the links are in the video description, or press the button join for YouTube membership. Guys, thank you so much for your kind support. Without you, my job wouldn't be possible. And if you don't have this opportunity, you may just press your like to this video and subscribe for the channel. By doing so, you really help me a lot. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.